by the Commonwealth Government. It's been funded by parts of industry. It's been funded by the New Zealand Government and New Zealand industry as a joint trans-Tasman initiative. So to give some context, I spent the good part of the last decade at the Australian Crime Commission. I resigned there in April last year, by my own choice, I should say. During my time at the Crime Commission, the Australian Crime Commission, it's a Commonwealth law enforcement body. Its principal area of focus is to generate criminal intelligence on organised crime of the highest threat impacting the Australian community. That's its role. Its board is every state and territory police commissioner and the head of ASIO and Customs and Attorney General's Department and Tax and a couple of others. So it's a very high-powered, hard-hitting organisation. It has coercive powers, and those are powers of a Royal Commission, much like the CMC or CJC in Queensland. So it removes your right to silence. There's penalties associated with lying as well. In any case, my time at the Crime Commission certainly impacted me and consequently impacted my family and gave me the motivation to set up IDCAM. One of the task forces I was involved with leading prior to finishing up with the Crime Commission was Task Force Galilee. It was a task force that had some national press. It involved the theft of about 500,000 Australian details by an organised crime group based in Asia. Those details consisted of your bank account details, your balance, your superannuation fund details, next of kin details, everything you needed to know about your behaviour and what you had. And so I was in the, I guess, unenviable position of thinking, how do I contact 500,000 people to say they're at risk? And thanks to Australia Post and an in-kind $5 million contribution, we mailed a letter to every household in the country. Now, most of you, in fact probably all of you don't remember, but we did. And it came, and it was one page, it was signed by the Police Commissioner of Queensland, the head of the ACC, and the head of ASIC, the Australian Securities Investment Commission, just explaining what Task Force Galilee was and what risks presented. That was our way of thinking, how do we call 500,000 people? We thought we won't call 500,000 people, we'll mail the whole country. So identity information is a commodity, and when I talk with groups such as your own, and I've been to Rotary in Toowoomba and in Armidale and Tamworth and Caloundra, Brisbane City and Toowong, a bunch of others in the last 6 months, I enjoy talking to community groups about this because I know that the chances are at some point you'll need the service, just to raise awareness of it. There'll be a public launch of this in October by the Commonwealth Minister for Justice during Identity Theft Awareness Week, which will be from the 13th of October, and a bunch of other media things that will go on there. What do we know? We know from last year's efforts, we did a household survey, telephone survey in Australia, so it was just a random phone call, much like the annoying ones you get about Telstra and Microsoft and all those others. And we asked a random household whether they'd experienced identity theft. And we did that in New Zealand, and we did that in Australia. And by extrapolating those results, we came up with a figure that the estimated number of people impacted by an attempt or successful attempt of identity theft or misuse in the last 12 months was 1.7 million Australians. Or 900,000 Kiwis. Oh, sorry, about 900,000 Kiwis. So it's growing, it's prevalent. I looked at this 10 years ago, that's when I first met John when he was at the CMC at the time. What's changing now is clearly the internet and its influence. And when I talk to groups like this, I often get reactions around, I don't do online banking. I don't transact online. It doesn't matter.